We are going live.
Okay, can. Ah,
Eh? Why on YouTube? 01
30-second delay.
30 seconds. Oh yeah, 30 seconds delay. I should bring the delay down. Next time lah. Still nothing. What's going on? Oh, there you go. Can see
Oh,
your
yeah.
face.
Can see my face.
Yeah, can see everything already.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Uh, Pop up.
300 millisecond is 30 seconds, right? I forgot.
Yeah.
My goodness. I should bring that down. I really should. Anyway.
No, YouTube itself already has a 30-second delay,
Yeah, but OBS is another 30 seconds from OBS.
That means it's 1 minute delay.
Almost lah. Not 1 minute lah, but almost lah. Anyway, to whoever's tuning in, hello. You're
Hello.
listening and watching. Well, you're mostly listening to techENT TV, techENT's, Tech and Tonic, right? So in today's show, there's no one except for me and Jeevan. We didn't plan to bring in any guest, I guess, because
Yeah.
yeah, we wanted to do something slightly more relaxing. As you can see, I'm back at home. Jeevan's also back at home. Okay,
Yeah.
and we're gonna be talking a little bit about Tech and Tonic also lah, obviously, because everyone's like, oh, when's your introduction gonna end? But yeah lah, we're gonna talk about that a little bit and things about that happened in the past week. Okay, and obviously you see Craig as well is our faithful recording software to whoever's watching or listening in. Okay lah, let's talk about Tech and Tonic a little bit, like why we came up with it. Like at first we came up with it like, yeah, we wanted to do something of a podcast and stuff like that, and we entered a discussion. After a while we're like, oh, how do we do this? Right? How do we do this? And Jeevan basically said, oh, why not we have guests every week, try to talk about uh, some other stuff. And I was like, no, I want it to be a bit more conversational. I wanted it to be a bit more um easygoing, a bit more not live lah, but kind of relaxing, right? We had a lot of debate and arguments about this topic also, like how we want to do this, like how we want to bring Tech and Tonic up, or how we want to develop Tech and Tonic, and I was very adamant that we are going to stay as a podcast, and that's also why you're gonna see later in the week. Last week we had an interview with what's her name, Nicole Tan of Facebook,
Yep.
and it's a purely video interview, and we're not branding it under Tech and Tonic. Although you last week saw Kevin Reed's interview on Tech and Tonic instead of a video interview, right? So that's the kind of direction that we're going. I know it's a bit confusing to some people, maybe, but yeah, we're trying to make Tech and Tonic as a purely podcast type platform, and we're probably adding more shows. Like we are planning to add more shows into the Tech and Tonic program. So if you all wanna suggest, then give us some suggestions, right?
Yeah. What I would actually like to know, like, what are some of the topics that everybody is looking at right now, like with MCO and stuff like that. We are actually thinking about more topics that will pique your interest to
Mm-hmm.
be very blunt. Yeah.
Yeah. So to whoever's watching, or like right now, or later, when this has gone to archive, the archive videos we initially wanted to delete it right after the stream, and then we thought I just leave it there for a few weeks
Yeah.
and see what happens. But if you're watching this, we'd like to know what you want to know or what you want to hear from us. So just please let us know, because if not, then we don't know what kind of content to make for you guys.
Yeah, and we're actually interacting with people on chat as well for the live stream. So if you have something you really, really want to say to us, or you want to ask us something, just jump into chat.
Yeah. Jeevan has a new setup, as far as I
Yes.
can understand it. Show them your new setup. Yeah, so he's using a Zoom mic that we have from our office. Well, thank
Yeah.
goodness he brought it home, and he's plugging it
Yeah.
into the PC to use it as a mic. So if you guys want to start a podcast or you guys want to start a recording studio at home and stuff like that, you don't need to spend 2,000 ringgit. Okay, you don't need to spend $1,000. You probably need to spend about $800. Okay, or 500 ringgit if you don't mind a second-hand item, and you can get a Zoom H5 like what Jeevan has. Okay.
Yeah.
The only issue is that it's currently only for one person, or it's just for one person recording lah at this point. So yeah, it's a budget setup, but it's a good setup. Or spend less lah on H1, like what I have here.
Yeah.
There's a new version. Doesn't look like this anymore. This is the older one, but it still works the same.
Yeah, and all you need is basically to download the drivers and actually just plug it in and it works.
And Jeevan just
Just
shared
like
what he
that.
had for breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
that's not
Yvonne is
me.
asking.
So TechENT right now, the person that's monitoring the chat is me and Jeevan, but the one replying is not me, it's Jeevan. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
So basically,
So
last week, what happened was we expected the MCO to end actually this Wednesday.
today.
Eh? No, not today.
Today.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
14th, right? But and we're supposed to go into work at the 15th. Okay, and then last week we watched the live stream from the Malaysian Prime Minister, and they say that MCO is extended all the way until the 28th,
28.
which also means that we're gonna be stuck at home for more than 1 month.
So
One and a
Yvonne
half
is
month.
Yvonne is asking $100 what she can get for breakfast. A lot.
$100 for breakfast or for the podcast?
I have no idea. She's saying $100 what can I get?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So $100 as in, okay lah. Let's put it this way lah. 100 ringgit or 100 USD
yeah.
for podcasts, right? If you're talking about 100 USD, which is about 400 ringgit, you can get the H1 very easily. This one.
The H1 is actually about 450 ringgit. I think now on Shopee. Hey Kavi.
Hey Kavi Raja Selva Raja. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But anyway, if you're asking about $100, you can get an H1. Okay, you can get a second-hand one also. Okay, you probably can get a set, or you can get like extra equipments to stand it on your table, some fluffs, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plug it into your PC. It's a very, very, very easy setup. Actually, you can. I think Jeevan can link up the Zoom link later. Okay
Yep.
lah, yeah lah. So Yvonne is asking about podcasts. Yeah, but 100 ringgit, 100 ringgit, I'm not so sure. You can get a very cheap mic, a USB mic, I'm
Yeah,
guessing,
USB mic.
but not as good. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure whether it would be that good. I think you should try to invest slightly more if you want to do podcast or you want to do voiceover. It's always recommended because I think that would be much better lah. Okay, for your voice, then people can
Yeah.
hear your beautiful voice also without any distraction, right? Okay, last week we spoke to Kevin of Acronis. Just now I mentioned already, so you can look up for that Tech and Tonic special. Okay.
Yep.
Right.
And next week we're actually next week or later this week
Later this week. Later this week,
you'll
you'll
be
be
seeing
seeing
a
a
video from of us interviewing Nicole Tan from Facebook.
yes. And we actually thought of publishing it tomorrow, but then because the MCO extended, then we'll publish it a bit later lah. Since there's no rush anymore, right? No, because we
Yeah,
thought of publishing it before the MCO ends.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll see that coming up. That is actually a very nice interview we had with Nicole Tan talking about what a few things that Facebook is doing during MCO and working from home.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So another thing that happened last week also was the Huawei P40 and the MatePad Pro finally actually being released. That was actually on Saturday lah. Okay,
Yeah.
and we are reviewing the device here. Okay, you've seen our
Yeah.
if you watch our YouTube, or you keep a tabs on our YouTube, you probably see the unboxing already. Got the blue color. Let me try to see whether my webcam can pick up the colors properly or not, because webcams,
Hi Seo.
Hi Siok. Hi Siok.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is the blue color. It doesn't pick up properly and there's a lot of fingerprints, but
Yeah.
yeah, you will see more of it later on. We're going to do a video on the on the camera of it too, sort of a tutorial. Yeah, Yvonne asked, "Are you happy that MCO is extended?" I don't know. I
No.
think is for Jeevan is no lah. For me, it's a mixed feeling. I mean, that also means that I get to stay at home and play more games. Okay, we'll talk about it in a little bit. But at the same time, like, wow, why like? I haven't.
I'm not. The only reason I'm not happy is during the whole MCO period, I've basically been working and gaming in the same place.
Yeah. So this is day 27 of MCO. Actually, yeah, day 27. Tomorrow's day 28. Um, and I haven't stepped out of the house. Like,
Yeah, the only reason I stepped out was to get groceries and essentials for my parents.
yeah, I haven't
So
stepped out of the house. And everything can be gotten online now. I've ordered some things online, but I don't know when it will arrive. So maybe that's a good thing, but at the same time, like, oh my goodness, when is this gonna end? But from what I
yeah,
know is that the Malaysian Health Ministry wants to push the curve all down all the way to zero lah.
yeah, and I think what they are doing is really commendable. We went from having a R naught value that is really high
Mm-hmm.
to one that is about, I think it's single digit right now.
Yeah, and also
So yeah,
for you who are watching from other parts of the world, Malaysia has claimed that their death toll is the lowest so far
yeah.
throughout the world.
From the statistics available, yeah,
Yeah,
Malaysia is so far the lowest percentage of deaths
yeah,
reported.
and also there's a lot of people who are already walking out of the hospital. So there's
Yep.
about 1,700
To
yesterday.
no 2,000 plus already.
2,000 plus already. 2,000 plus walking out of the hospital from the COVID-19 case. Hopefully they don't spread that some more lah. But um, so far I think it's good lah. The progress has been
Yeah.
good, and I think if the trend continues, staying for another 2 weeks just to beat this whole situation, I think that would be good. I think I'm happy to just abide and stay at home. You know.
Yeah, I think it's one of the only times in human history you can literally say you are saving lives by staying in your house.
Well, staying at home has never hurt anyone lah. So
No, you're literally saving lives. You're breaking the chain of infection. So yeah.
yeah, considering lah. Yvonne also asks, "Are you saving or spending more now that you're at home?" I'm definitely saving. I'm definitely saving a lot more. I don't
Ha-
need to eat out.
Yeah, we are saving on food, but then when it comes to things like Shopee and Lazada and shopping online for stuff, it can get expensive. I was looking at Nintendo Switch controllers from 8-bit Do.
Hmm.
And those aren't cheap. They're about 200 ringgit a pop.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I made it a point to on Shopee and Lazada not to go there too much unless I have something that I need. Because this is what I do in the office, So when I'm in the office, I just sit down, okay, and I do my work and stuff like that. And then when I'm done with like a big long article, like a review, right, then I'll relax a little bit. And what I do is that, oh, go on Shopee, go on Lazada.
Yep.
And that's the time when I start like, oh, I need this, I need that, oh, I need this, I need that. And that's the time I start buying impulsively, right? But at
Mm-hmm.
home, I'm a lot more controlled somehow, okay? Because to me, I think I have almost whatever I need at home. And at least I don't have to spend on food lah. My mom is cooking every day, and I definitely noticed that my tummy has gone slightly smaller. That's one thing also.
Yeah.
And she also asked, "Do you think it'll extend some more after 28th of April?" I don't know. It really depends on the curve. It really depends on how many people are getting infected every day. If we don't see the numbers going down, then it'll definitely extend. But if we see numbers going down to single digits, maybe not. I don't know.
It also depends. Like now, the only reason why we had to extend our MCO is likely because there are new clusters appearing.
Yeah,
So when there's new clusters, it means that a lot of people can get infected potentially.
yes, that's one thing. Another thing we saw last week was the MatePad Pro. I haven't unboxed it yet. It's still new in the box. I actually thought we want to unbox it today in the live thing, but too much logistics, so I'm not gonna bother.
We will do a proper unboxing later on YouTube, so you guys can catch the content there.
Yeah, but I'm quite excited for the MatePad. Anyway, Jeevan has been playing Zelda, right?
Yeah,
What's your
Yvonne
progress
is.
there?
I finally actually unlocked the whole map of Hyrule,
Finally,
and my God, it's so big.
it is. It is
Getting
huge.
from one corner of Hyrule to the other is it can take hours if you don't have the right equipment.
There's something called fast travel.
Yeah, I know. I without fast travel, it can
Yeah.
take hours.
So if you're able to unlock the whole map of Legend of Zelda, you basically have all the towers already. So you can
Yeah,
use that as your fast travel point. So if you're traveling from one end of the map to the other, Jeevan just use fast travel.
but you have to travel manually to find the hidden shrines because they can be really, really hard to find. And yes, Yvonne, the Switch is very expensive now because there is a shortage of Switches
Yeah,
for
there's
Nintendo.
there's there's an increase in demand of for all these stuff, even like for PlayStation and things like that. But good news is that PlayStation 4 Pro is currently on sale. I think
Yeah,
from is it from M4G or
I think it was Gamers Hideout and M4G. The
yeah.
cheapest one came from Gamers Hideout. It was like 5 or 6 games with the console, and it was only, I think, 2,600 or 2,999.
No. It was less than 2,999. It was 2,699 if I'm not wrong. It's somewhere between 2,399, 2,399 to 2,699, which is actually
Yeah.
very 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 cheap for all the games that they offer. They even offer like Red Dead Redemption if you really
Yep.
want, right? They offer the whole Horizon Zero Dawn, including the expansion. Okay, I think. Last of Us, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, there was a few good games that will keep you really, uh, really entertained throughout the MCO.
yeah. Richard Gomez asked, "What's so big?" I heard Jeevan said needs right equipment.
Huh?
I think
Needs
this.
right. Richard, what are you getting at?
I think he's asking about podcast equipment.
Yeah, this is the current setup I have. No need to be that big. This was only like 550 ringgit.
Okay, that 550 ringgit, you have to remember that it's second hand. So if you
Yep.
want to spend 500 on like a brand new system, you can look for the H1. Again, I said, right?
Yeah.
The new one I think is about 600 bucks. And it's very very small. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yvonne says
So
that at this point, if you want to buy PS, sure get PS5 lor.
I hope we're not still locked indoors at that point because it's supposed to come in December.
Yeah, so I think if you if you don't have a PlayStation 4 at this point, you might want to consider getting you might consider waiting for a PlayStation 5. But the thing is, it won't come until end of the year, and at least until now we have not seen what a PlayStation 5 looks like. The only thing we
Yeah.
have seen, okay, we're gonna go into this. The only thing we have seen this week, last week basically, was the controller, which is not called a Dual Shock anymore. It's a
Yeah,
Dual Sense.
and I think for good reason. So PlayStation is pushing this whole thing about immersive gaming this
Yep.
year. So they focus on sound, and now with the controller, they are actually focusing on touch.
Yep.
So what they want you to do is feel what you're playing. So if you're driving through mud or running through sand, they want you to have that sort of feeling on the DualSense controllers.
Yeah, so what they're doing with the dual sense controller is make it bigger, all right? Obviously, if you've seen the graphics, we have the article on techENT.tv. You can check that out. But it looks bigger. It looks bigger than before. And it looks actually slightly more Xboxy than before, if I might add, okay? But I think ergonomically that looks better. It feels like it's going to feel better in the hands rather than the DualShock 4, right?
Yeah,
I feel
and
that
also,
this is okay, but I feel that there's some improvements that needs to be done at the
yeah,
stems, at the whatever, you know. But
the
the dual sense, I think they're also going to include some new vibration machines that works coincidentally with the PlayStation 5 to actually deliver close to real life vibrations. And I think they also have a new trigger, not really new lah, but they have a slightly better feedback on the triggers. That's what they said.
yeah, they have what they're calling adaptive triggers. So what I can understand from the technology is simply that when you're using the triggers, instead of having just one pressure to it, it will adapt to the situation in the game. So
Yes.
it can get harder or softer as the game progresses.
Yeah. In our minds, I think they're using electromagnets to do that. Okay, we'll get
Yeah.
into the science of that later on if we get a tie
But
down of it.
but also I think one thing Sony mentioned in their release of the specs of the DualSense controller is that the graphics of the controller itself looks a lot uh bigger than what it actually is.
Yeah. So that's one thing. Okay, but I think ergonomically looking at shape is still going to be much better than the DualShock controllers that we
Yeah.
have now. Although I say that the DualShock controllers at this point is the best DualShock that you can buy with your money lah. Okay,
hmm
and it's still very cheap. It's still way cheaper than the Xbox
I
controllers.
I actually like the new design with the two colors and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And if you've been on Instagram after they announced the DualSense, a lot of fan-made special editions of the controllers have been floating around, and they look so good.
yeah, but I think that dual tone color would be a given because it's a signature PlayStation color lah. Basically, PlayStation way of doing things lah. Basically, like what I have at home currently, I have two controllers. I have the berry blue. I really like the two color combinations lah at least. So I think they're still going to continue with that. And from the design itself, I think it looks like they are going to continue with that kind.
And I think they were experimenting even with later PS4 controllers.
Yep.
Like PS4 released with single color tones, but
Yep.
if you look at the new lineup of controllers, we have dual tone controllers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, that's the dual sense for you. But a lot of people are speculating how the PlayStation 5 looks like after that dual sense thing also.
Yeah,
We're not going to speculate because honestly, what for?
yeah, and to be very honest, the PS4 was one of Sony's nicest designs in recent years.
Yeah.
Like I like the PS3 and PS2 designs, but the PS3 was super chunky.
Mm-hmm.
The PS2 was very square, but there's something asymmetrical but still satisfying about the PS4 design.
Yeah, yeah, that's one thing lah. It looks like a sculpture at one point.
Yeah,
But I don't know because they say that they're going to try to focus on cooling, or not really focusing on cooling. They're trying to make sure that it's still cool, running cool at the same time.
yeah.
While
So, yeah, I think that was one problem Xbox had in previous generations where it would overheat. With the Xbox 360, it came to the point where it actually leads to the red ring of death.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
the Xbox lah, right? But the
yeah,
PlayStation also overheated a few times, and right now they have the PlayStation 4 Slim. We tried to avoid that, but it seems that they have solved the cooling issue on the PS4, and I think that will be brought over to the PlayStation 5. And
yeah,
with their throttling and stuff like that, I think that would be. I think they've done a lot of work there lah. I hope it works. Richard Gomez says that the PlayStation 5 controller reminds him of the original Xbox controllers. Yes, it does look like that, and we've always said that the Xbox controllers is one of the best controllers to feel in your hand,
yeah,
right? It's just that they're freaking expensive. They're 200 plus ringgit.
yeah.
They're
And
239 ringgit, if I'm not wrong.
I think I hope PlayStation is going to make the controllers work with Windows
Yeah,
and mobile, because that was one thing that Xbox had over the PlayStation controllers. And to be very honest, I like the PlayStation controllers more than the Xbox.
yeah. So on that subject, I think right now the DualShock 4 can be connected to any Android 10 device and above.
Yep.
Okay, if you have an older Android, then it won't work. But that also is also because Sony PlayStation has made the Sony Remote Play available on Android 10 devices and above. It's also working on Windows, but you have to be on the same Wi-Fi umbrella as the PlayStation that you have. So, which means that if you're connected through tethering, let's say, because I'm doing that right now, okay, it won't work. Okay, it won't work under tethering. You have to connect it under the same Wi-Fi umbrella. So if you have a Wi-Fi 5 gigahertz network, you have to be connected to that. You cannot be tethered through any other device. Yeah.
Hmm.
So keep that in mind. But that also means that you can play in your room now on your laptop.
Yeah. So Yvonne is asking whether we got FF7 remake. Short answer, yes, we did. It's with Darwin right now, and he's playing it on his console
Actually, it's
at
not
home.
just with me. It's in our company account. Okay, so Jeevan has access to it too, but he doesn't
Yeah.
have access to his PlayStation 4 because yeah, he
Yeah.
got siblings. But yes, we do have the FF7 remake, the Final Fantasy 7 remake. I played a little bit yesterday,
How was
and
it?
the
How
part
was
I
it?
played was what they actually showed in the demo, and it feels exactly like it. In the demo, I chose the story mode. In this one, I actually chose normal mode. Um, I don't know whether they've tuned the difficulty down a little bit. They still say a lot of people still say that it's a very difficult game, but uh, I haven't lost yet. I haven't died just yet. Like I'm still okay.
So I played the demo in the new mode, and I was struggling to get past one point in the demo,
Yeah, I got past
which
that point.
Dar- which Darwin got past really easily playing on the original mode. So they may have tweaked it a bit,
No, no, I'm playing
but
normal mode now. Okay, and the difficulty level compared to the story mode, okay, is 2-3 times harder because they don't block for you, right?
mhm,
So you have to learn how to block yourself and you have to be very nimble with your controls. But it hasn't got to the point that I'm frustrated, or it hasn't got to the point that it's overly difficult because I have not. Well, Cloud basically got knocked out once, and that's it. Like that's it. As long as you, I feel that as long as you keep tabs on everyone, it's fine, right?
yeah,
And gameplay wise, I think you should read what I've wrote for the demo. Okay, in on techENT TV, it's just basically like that. Okay, a lot of screenshots and everything will also look like that. So I'm more focused on what the story brings and the graphics and things like that. And in that point of view, it's really good. But I have one complaint. Okay, so I installed the game. Okay, and I finished that part where the demo ends, and then the game started installing more files. So I
Yeah.
cannot continue the game. Right. So I finished that part within 1 hour. Okay, because
Mm-hmm.
it's designed to finish within that hour. And then PlayStation 4 tells me that, oh, okay, to continue, we need to install additional files. So please wait while we install additional files until we're done with that. Then only you can play. So I'm like, huh? Oh, like that ah?
That, does that mean that you use
Oh,
the demos files to run the game?
maybe okay, but they're installing like 80 gigs of stuff on the
Oh my
PlayStation,
god.
right? 80 gigs worth of space taken up in the PlayStation. And to be really, really honest, it looks really good. Like the game looks really, really good. But that part is a bit annoying because now I have to wait. Well, yesterday night I didn't even get to play after that. I'm like, have to install lah. Okay lah, go to sleep first. Or go do something else first. Really, I went to do something else first after that. But I think it's good in the sense that it staggers your progress so that you don't complete the game like just straight away once you start. Once you first install it, it brings you through the introduction part, and then after that, it slowly goes into it, right?
Well,
Yeah, so I'll be
that
playing it more later. You won't be seeing me writing or you won't be seeing me working actually because it's Final Fantasy 7. But yeah.
yeah, I think it also might be because of the PlayStation Store's refund policy.
Hmm.
So after an hour of gameplay, if you don't like the game, you can actually request for a refund on the PlayStation Store.
I mean that's good and all, but you know, when you buy games like Final Fantasy 7, okay, I don't think you want to return it. Okay, I think you want to play it through. It's
Yeah.
243 ringgit. It's not cheap. Okay. Uh, but yeah, I feel that it's not something that you would be like, oh, I think I'll return this because it's too difficult. I don't think so lah. I think for the sake of if you are going to buy the Final Fantasy 7, okay, I think at least you have some, not to say expectation, but at least some um history with it, because yeah, you grew up with the title. It's 20 years ago, I think. Yeah, it's 20 something years ago already. It's 23
20 something
years.
years. Yeah.
It's launched in 1997. So at least I think you grew up with it, and I don't think you're gonna return the game lah. I highly doubt lah.
So has there been any like cinematics
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
portion that you played
Yeah, yeah,
already?
yeah. There's a lot of cinematics. I mean, the whole opening portion of it is just a cinema. It's just cinematics until you get to the train and Cloud going into the whole reactor thing and stuff like that. And that's just very reminiscent of how you started Final Fantasy 7 in 1997. Basically, it's just very, very, very similar to that, and that is like the greatest part of it all. Like, it feels very, very similar. It feels very, very familiar. And yeah, I kind of like that. Like, yes, this is FF7 finally, and it's on 4K display, not on some CRT, VGA display and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me it will be my first time playing Final Fantasy 7.
Mm-hmm.
For I you can call me a graphics snob, but after playing FF8, I could not take the small sprites in FF7. I was like, okay, I can't take the graphics. I'm not going to play this.
Yeah.
So it will be my first time playing FF7, and I'm really, really excited.
While I understand his point of view, I don't think that's a good reason to not play FF7 in its 1997 form. But yeah, FF7
Well,
is good lah. It's good.
the original FF7 has been remastered for the Nintendo Switch,
Yeah, but
and it's on 50% discount right now. So
yeah, you should get
we'll
it.
see.
But at the same time, like you look at the remastered version of the Final Fantasies, you're like, Uh yes,
Uh,
let's move it on. I think we're running out of time because we talk so much. Uh we again earlier last week we spoke about cybersecurity with Acronis, Kevin Reed from Acronis, and we are getting even more reports about people using Zoom and people getting cyber attacked on Zoom, and it's getting worse and worse. There's more and more
yeah,
cases. I don't think it's Zoom's own fault in any way necessary, because I think we have also been using Zoom to conduct some of our interviews. We use Zoom to conduct our interview with Acronis and Facebook, and in those calls, we never actually experienced a lot of problems. We tried securing the platform as much as we can. We tried to ensure that only us, the host, is allowed to control or to handle the participants, who gets to come in, who gets to talk, and things
yeah,
like that, right? But there's a lot more cases, and this morning I just heard from a friend in Singapore that the schools are starting to use Zoom last week in Singapore because of their whole circuit breaker. And then what happened was somebody hacked into the feed and showed the kids some really disturbing images of themselves
yeah.
or compromising images.
Apparently, these idiots were actually asking the kids to flash them.
Yeah. So that was
So
very, very disturbing, and because of that, the Singaporean government has
banned
banned Zoom.
Zoom.
The schools have banned Zoom also. I don't know what they're using now.
So
Um,
it's not only Singapore that's banning Zoom. Google has banned Zoom on any company devices and for company purposes.
yep.
And the US Senate has also started cracking down on Zoom usage for meetings and stuff like that.
Yeah, Facebook also actually banned Zoom already. It's just that
Yep.
they didn't have a choice with us. We asked them to do it on Discord or Zoom, and they chose to go the easier route to go on Zoom. Facebook has their own in-house developed system called Blue Jeans, and we used it
Yep.
to communicate with one of their staff last week as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not really released out to the public at this point, I don't think. Right? We haven't looked into it too much, but we're gonna have an article about video conferencing tools. Okay, we're gonna be talking about which video conferencing tools you should look into, which one you should use. On the top of my head, if you're using it for a company usage, consider using Microsoft Teams. Okay. If you're going for the premium version with which gives you like a vast amount of control, I think it's worth spending the money. Okay. But if you're trying to go for free tools, use Discord, man.
Yeah, Discord actually works for us quite well. And I think going back to Zoom, so one of the flaws in Zoom was actually because you know those room IDs and password that it generates with numbers?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently it's very easy to brute force your way into that.
Yeah, it is. It actually
So
is. It actually is very, very easy.
yeah, I've actually talked about it on our techENT download, which was released earlier today because I had a few issues with my laptop yesterday.
Mm. So yeah,
So yeah,
if you're going to use Zoom, you have to really consider that lah. I mean, make sure you as a host have complete control on what's going on in the situation, because you as a host have ways to actually kick out a person or allow a person in, or not. So you as a host, be careful. But at the same time, if you can, maybe try to explore a little bit on other video conferencing tools. I suggest Microsoft Teams. While Google will say, yeah, use Google Hangouts or Google Duo, I'm not so sure.
yeah,
Because we've tried using Google Hangouts a few times. Although it's smooth and it's good, you can't really record the meetings.
yeah.
There's no way for you to
So
record the meetings at this point.
and for us, we do audio and video recording over our current setups with Discord and
Mm-hmm.
with Zoom, and we upload it later on. It's easier to do it on these two platforms, and with Discord, we have very stable call quality and also audio quality. In
Yeah,
fact, the audio on Discord is better than even on Zoom.
yeah. We'll go into why that is in our own article. We're not going to talk about that now. But another thing about Google Hangouts, okay, I can't seem to get it to feed from my mic, okay, and it only chooses to go with a set of tools, like a set of things. Like if I put it through the mic, it only the app will actually choose to output on the interface itself. I don't have an extra speaker or an extra earphone for the interface, so that sucks. So
Yep.
I can only use the microphone and the mic on the laptop, which really is quite a bummer lah. But oh well. We're using Discord most of the time for our own chat
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah, or
And
Telegram.
that's also thanks to Craig when it comes to recording our podcast.
Yes, yes, yes. That's Craig. Okay, I will talk about Craig a little bit more in our article as well. Okay, but I think that is the only time we have for today. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, cause it's already 40 minutes, and my target was 30 minutes actually today, but we went overboard a little bit. It's okay. Thank you for tuning in to whoever that has tuned in and stayed in for this whole session. I hope this has been fun. Well, at least I enjoyed it, right?
Yeah.
This is a completely different Tech and Tonic because we didn't have a structure to it. We didn't even like come up with okay what we're gonna talk about because we didn't have any guest, right? So
Yeah.
like, yeah, just go on and just catch up and just talk about things lah. And probably I talked a little bit too much, um, but thank you for tuning in. We'll have this session again next week on Monday, and we'll definitely have a guest. But do let us know what you want to hear more from us. There's no more Tech and Tonic introduction on why we started with Tech and Tonic because we end that today
It's
lah. Okay, we'll just end that
yeah.
today because I I cannot come up with any more stuff. I'm like I'm out of ideas. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. This has been fun. If you want to check out the podcast will be available later in the afternoon. Now we are on Anchor, we are on Spotify, most popular Spotify, right? Google Podcasts, we are on there also. Apple Podcasts, Breaker, a few more podcast channels that we know of. If we are not there, if we are not on the channel that you always go to for podcasts, please do let us know. We'll try to get there. We'll try to get ourselves our podcast channels there. And of course, if you have anything else that you want to see from us or hear from us on a podcast, you let us know. We'll try to make it out. We'll try to form something or structure something out so that we can have more variety of contents. One thing, and you can have more entertainment. And during
Yeah.
this MCO period, I think it's very important for all of us to stay a bit more positive, stay safe, stay indoors. Please don't go out and do whatever rubbish outside, okay? But I think it's very important that you also wash your hands and don't touch your face. Like I touched my face like 4 5 times because my nose was so
Same.
itchy. But anyway, thank you. This has been very fun. This has been very enjoyable. Thank you for watching. This is me, Darwin, and Jeevan.
Jeevan.
Thank you so
And
much.
we'll see you next week when we have our next Tech and
Yeah.
Tonic.
Oh yeah. Do subscribe. Do give us a like. Do subscribe to the channel. Um.
Share. Most importantly, share it
Yeah.
with everybody.
And share with everybody so that we can keep doing this lah. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you and bye bye.
See ya.